I now recognize Representative Brad Sherman of California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Tom Malinowski for his lifetime of dedication to human rights and for his work on this important legislation. I don't take sides as to how Ethiopia should be governed or this or that political group. But what we see in Ethiopia is the use of starvation of the civilian population by both the Ethiopian and Eritrean governments as a weapon of war. And this is indeed a war crime that rises above the individual instances of this or that wrongful act, maybe even criminal act committed against 10 people here or 40 people there. This has been an escalating disaster for 15 months. 2.2 million people have been internally displaced. Some 70,000 Tigrayans have fled to Sudan. And most importantly, nearly 1 million Tigrayans face famine conditions. We need to end the Ethiopian government's and the Eritrean government's blockade of food. No humanitarian aid trucks have entered since December 15th. At most, you have one small plane coming in maybe every day, every other day to bring some medicine. That is inadequate to deal with the millions of people who face starvation. Just a few weeks ago, the UN World Food Program sounded the alarm, saying that 40% of the people in Ethiopia's embattered Tigrayan region are facing an extreme lack of food. The World Food Program's findings are that families are exhausting all means to feed themselves, with 3/4 of the population using extreme coping strategies to survive. 83% of Tigrayans were food deprived. Notice increasing in begging, relying on just one meal a day. There needs to be a forceful U.S. response, and this bill is part of that. As of today, more people in Tigray face famine conditions than the entire rest of the world combined, according to the Associated Press. As the UN mission in Geneva, Chargé d'Affaires pointed out at the UN Human Rights Council special session on the situation in Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government has used starvation as a weapon of war by blockading humanitarian aid for entering Tigray, and I would point out that the Eritrean government is very much a part of that blockade. That is why roughly 1 million people are food deprived, are facing extreme famine, again, more than the rest of the world combined. Among those most afflicted are children and pregnant breastfeeding women who face malnutritional rates of 80%. A second problem in Ethiopia is that out in the areas the government controls, it is arresting people of Tigrayan ethnicity for no reason other than their ethnicity. And I will be, at the appropriate time, introducing an amendment to focus on that particular problem. So we do face the problems of the drone strikes killing hundreds. We do face the problem of the arrests on the basis of ethnicity facing affecting thousands and tens of thousands. And we see the blockade of food affecting hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million people. The use of starvation as a weapon is a war crime. It is being used, and whatever the political disputes are, whatever, and we all hope that those are resolved and that there is a ceasefire and ultimate peace, whatever those are, do not justify the use of mass starvation of civilians as a weapon of war. And that is why I'm pleased that this resolution in 2 places identifies that war crime. And it's not just the Ethiopian government. Eritrea is there, could allow food in, deliberately doesn't. And of course, our embassy in Eritrea, Embassy Asmara, has stepped forward with a specific comment saying that indeed Eritrea is blocking food aid. This is a catastrophe. I'm pleased that the committee is addressing our attention to it here today, and I yield back.